Good to go? All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Matt DiMatteo. I'm a pastor at New Life Community Church. I'm also the CEO of New Life Centers of Chicagoland. I love our neighborhood of Little Village. I'll say it every time I do an interview. I've lived here, served here, worshiped here for the last 25 years. My wife and 3 kids live here. My wife works at Farragut. My kids have all gone through Farragut. We love this place. It is our home. Yesterday morning, I was eating breakfast at my favorite restaurant and the best restaurant in the city as well, Nuevo Leon, with friends when ice descended on our neighborhood. As I drove to check on neighbors and families, I approached 26th and Pulaski, right here, 1 block away, where about 10 ICE vehicles had stopped. They threw flashbang grenades into the street, and I saw right next to my van, Bovino pull the pin on another grenade, threatening to throw it. A few minutes later, I continued west on 26th Street, and I approached the Sam's Club in Cicero. I turned left into the lot and came upon a family in distress. A mom, a dad, their 16-year-old sister, and a 1-year-old baby. All 4 were struggling to breathe, their faces burning from pepper spray. We helped them flush their eyes, and I took them to the clinic for medical treatment. Today, you'll hear their story directly from them. A 1-year-old baby, shopping with her family, pepper sprayed at close range. Not protesting, not chasing ICE vehicles, not fighting, not doing anything wrong, just shopping. In fact, they didn't even make it to shop. We love Chicago, the greatest city in the world, a city full of life, diversity, culture, and resilience. Violence is down here more than 30% citywide, and over 75% drop in shootings and homicides here in our community. That's the fruit of people working together for peace. We can do this together. But let's be honest, this has been a painful season. I've been doing this for 25 years, and I feel like every time I speak, I say this was the worst week we've had. And indeed, this week we just came through was, again, the worst week we've had. Resources are being cut. Families are living in fear. Parents are afraid to go to work. Children are asking if it's safe to go to school. Churches, schools, and small businesses are struggling to survive. And now, a family, and I shouldn't have to say this, but guess what? All U.S. citizens were attacked while shopping. This isn't working for any of us. We need a better way. So I invite, personally, Tom Homan, Christy Noem, Greg Bovino. I'm willing to sit down with you personally as a pastor in Chicago to talk. Let's have a conversation. What's happening now is dividing and destroying. Let's find a better way together. Little Village in Chicago, we love you. We see your fear. We feel your pain, and we will get through this together. No us and them, just us. And now I'm going to introduce someone who I met in a terrible way, but have gotten to know over the last few hours. And I'm going to introduce the father who was part of this incident, Rafael.
Nice to meet you. Mucho gusto a todos. La verdad que para mí, pues, ¿cómo les diré? Fue algo inesperado. Yo casi, pues, era mi día normal. Yo iba a trabajar por la tarde. En la mañana me levanté como un día normal. Le dije a mi esposa, ¿sabes qué? Hay que tener que ir a comprar la despensa de la semana. Es sábado, ya nos hay que tener que ir a comprar. Nos paramos, nos fuimos. Voy llegando yo a Sam's, voy entrando al parqueadero cuando de repente yo escucho silbatos de los carros, escucho los silbatos de los ¿cómo se llama? De los silbatos que tienen cada gente. Volteo hacia mi lado, veo para arriba, veo el helicóptero. Es cuando yo le digo a mi esposa, le digo, ¿sabes qué? Hay que evitarnos tanto problema, le digo, hay que salirnos antes de que lleguen y se haga un caos que no se pueda salir de aquí. En el momento que yo voy tratando de salirme, yo que no soy ni un protestante, yo no soy que ni lo estoy buscando, ni lo estoy tratando de hacerles nada a ellos, que no dicen todos, como me dice mi madre, que fui educado, sabes que si los ves, tú hazte como si no estuvieran ahí, hijo. Haz como si están, pero no los vistes. Yo iba manejando como si nada, ni les puse atención cuando yo voy viendo que va entrando la troca negra de los de ICE, la Nissan específicamente, la pickup, va entrando al parqueadero. Desde que va entrando, la troca va aventando spray a la gente, por ninguna razón. Cuando yo me voy acercando, a mí no se me vino a la mente que a mí me iban a dispararme con el spray de pepper spray. Cuando yo reaccioné, ya fue muy tarde, fue que mi esposa me dijo, la niña. Yo traté de reaccionar, al tener todo el spray en los ojos, yo traté de reaccionar. Algo que tal vez en mi mente no se me vino, traté de hacerme a un lado, tratar de ayudar a mi hija, porque pues específicamente es una niña de 1 año. O sea, ¿qué es lo que buscan? O sea, si estuvieron aquí en la villita, lo único que están tratando de hacer, la verdad, yo no sé qué es lo que buscan en hacer, tratar de meternos miedo, cuando bien claramente saben que aunque hagan lo que hagan, no van a poder contra nosotros. Ahora están yéndose contra los niños que son inocentes, que no tienen nada que ver con esto, los afectan. Ahora mi hija ayer tuvo que estar hospitalizada en un hospital por culpa de ellos. Tuvieron que venir los de veneno, porque no sabían si la niña le iba a afectar o algo le iba a poder dar efectos después de ese spray. La niña, gracias a Dios, ahorita pues está respondiendo bien. No, los doctores nomás nos dijeron que tuviéramos al tanto de la niña, que cualquier cosa de que ella cambiara, pero pues a como se ve la niña está bien en salud, pero pues nunca podemos saber porque es una bebé. No me podrá decir, ¿sabes qué? Me duele esto, me siento mal. La verdad que no. Ahorita la niña está traumatizada de algo que mi hija, yo nunca pensé que le iba a meterle en una situación en esto a una cierta edad, que pues ella, la cual no tiene ni que pasar por esto, la verdad. Oh, okay. Eventually, oh, my name is Rafael Beraza, Rafael Beraza, V as in Victor, Eraza. Eventually, my morning was on a Saturday morning. I told my wife, like, every Saturday morning, you know what, we gotta go grocery shopping. Eventually, we don't have nothing, it's payday, I gotta go get groceries. Eventually, I told her, you know what, let's step out, let's go to Sam's. We normally know when there's a lot of stuff happening. We didn't know, we're not like any other day. We just eventually went to Sam's. When we approached to Sam's parking lot is when I heard, then I told my wife, I'm like, do you hear the sirens and do you hear the whistles? She was like, no. And as when I looked out my window, I looked up and I saw the chopper. Was when I told my wife, I'm like, you know what? There's no point of us shopping if this is going to be a chaos. I'm like, you know what? Eventually, let's just leave. We could come back after everything happened. The moment that I'm approaching to leave the Sam's parking lot on Cicero, on the side of Ogden, I'm seeing ICE trucks coming in through the side of parking lot. Eventually, I'm trying to leave the parking lot. I'm not a protester. I don't have nothing against them. I was not attacking them or anything. I was just trying to leave the Sam's parking lot. When eventually, since I saw them come in, one of their trucks, their Nissan pickup truck, I don't know exactly who it was. They were coming from the Ogden side. I was eventually going the opposite way. I saw them. One of the officers took out their hand out of the window. Eventually, he started spraying from the beginning, from the front of the car, towards the back. I had my window down. Basically, I got sprayed all over my face. I never knew my daughter got sprayed in her face until my wife was the one that reacted and was like, you know what, our daughter. That moment basically made me click. My head came to, think, pull to the side. I had to basically pull to the side. I got out of the car. I went to my trunk because I had water to water down my face and basically water down her face because I didn't know the effects of the pepper spray towards her. Eventually, more that she's 1 year old. Yes, towards me, I really don't care because I'm an adult. I really don't mind, The effects on an adult is completely different. But on a 1-year-old, it's like common sense. You're clearly there. I'm not even doing a thing. I'm trying to exit. They're coming in this way. I didn't even look at them. You could clearly see on the video there's going on around. I'm just minding my own business. I'm not even looking at them. I'm going straight forward, trying to come out. They're looking out. They're spraying at everybody's cars. They spray from the beginning of my front of my car all the way to the back. That's when, like I'm telling you, I noticed, my wife noticed, then my daughter tried to open her eyes. She was struggling to breathe. So that was when Matt came in. I didn't really notice. I couldn't see. It was when I heard him. He was trying to help us out. He was the one that basically helped us out. helped me and helped my daughter take us to the hospital to make sure we were right. Mostly, I didn't care about my health because at the moment, everything that just came to my head was my daughter's health because eventually she's 1 year old. So exactly, I didn't really have to go through this. My daughter neither had to go through this because eventually we were not really no protesters. We were not really going after them, or we were not even attacking them.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And now I'm going to invite a good friend, head of Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights, Lawrence Benito.
Thank you, Matt. Good afternoon. My name is Lawrence Benito, Executive Director of the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights. Yesterday in Little Village and Cicero was another example of what we have seen throughout Chicago and the suburbs on a near daily basis for the last 2 months. Members of rapid response teams in our network, as well as local elected officials and everyday Illinoisans, have been on the front lines of documenting ICE and CBP's atrocities and leading the community-based response to ensuring people have the support they need to keep their families together. We thank members of La Villita Se Defiende for your leadership yesterday and throughout the whole year. We also thank the team at New Life Centers, including Matt DiMatteo, for your ongoing work to look out for our neighbors and bring all our communities together. And we thank the Veraza family for your bravery in speaking publicly about what ICE and CPB did to your family yesterday. This is unfortunately not an isolated incident across our region. Yesterday, community members witnessed ICE and CBP agents shoot pepper balls, use tear gas, and use pepper spray in seeming violation of our direct court orders that were announced by a federal judge just days earlier. When Trump says that ICE and CBP, quote, haven't gone far enough in their tactics, this is what he means. He means pepper spraying a car with a baby inside. He means repeatedly using tear gas on residential streets. He means increasing the cruelty and inflicting harm on even more Illinois residents who refuse to comply in advance with his hateful agenda. To all Illinois residents, remember that ICE and CBP have lied and will continue to lie about our communities to justify their violence. We know the truth about what Trump and Bovino are directing their henchmen to do every day. We see them separating families and abducting our neighbors every day. We can and must continue to document their atrocities and assert our rights. Because if we don't, it will be easier for Trump's increasingly authoritarian regime to tell us that we can't. You have the right to document immigration enforcement happening in public. You have the right to remain silent, to ask for an attorney, and to refuse to sign anything. And as always, if you see ICE in your neighborhood, or if someone in your family has been taken, call the ICR Family Support Hotline at 855-435-7693. Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence. Now I'm going to invite Victor Rodriguez Jr. from La Villita Community Church.
Hello, my name is Victor Rodriguez, lifelong community resident of La Villita and parishioner at La Villita Community Church located here in our neighborhood. Yesterday, I took it upon myself to go out into our community and attempt to keep people safe. Protests were happening, people were angry, and unfortunately, government, state officials who have come down with masks and intimidation factors, baiting our community residents into living in that anger and doing something that will justify terrorizing our community. As I went out yesterday and I looked upon what was happening, I saw two things that struck me. First was anger. People have been pushed, people have been tested, and people are scared. The second I saw was great lament. We have people here running home, mothers and fathers scared to leave their house. We see here firsthand some of the pain and lament of our community members. You see firsthand different non-for-profit organizations that are attempting to rectify this wrong. after I speak today, you'll hear from various elected officials who are fighting that fight in accountability in the way, in the path that we know that we have right now. And as we bridge this gap between community organizers, and elected officials, I want to take a time. It is Sunday, and as a son of a preacher, I'd be remiss if we didn't do a little prayer or worship this morning. So I just want to take time real quick and pray not only for the families that are suffering, the families that are trying to come back from trauma and pain, and also for our elected officials who are taking up that garb for every one of us, that are taking up that mantle and saying, we will fight for you. So, Father God, we come to you before this morning as humble servants of your word, of your love, Father God. And as the faith community here in Little Village, we are standing up and saying, enough is enough, Father. We pray that your mercy be showed upon us, that your spirit be come down, Father God. And I pray that we remember that at the end of the day, your word is very firm, that you are on the side of the least of these, the side of the sojourner, and that justice will roll down. And that's what we're praying for this morning. And we're praying for our elected officials as they continue on in our fight. Thank you.
Now I'd like to invite Congressman Jesus Chuy Garcia.
Thank you, and good afternoon to everyone. In the vein of what Victor Rodriguez just stated, I pray that the federal courts and judges who are trying to rein in the unconstitutional, illegal, and barbaric acts of federal agents who continue to inflict violence on our community, regardless of people's status, because everyone is being harmed and persecuted by ICE agents gone rogue. We hope that they are monitoring yesterday's events and the testimonies presented here today, because the most innocent families are being harmed by their efforts. Yesterday, my wife and I were trying to celebrate our 48th wedding anniversary, interrupted time and time again by helicopters hovering over our house. Why do they have to stay there for minutes, knowing that we live just downstairs a couple of 100 feet? What's the point? The point is intimidation. The point is to drive home the point that we should give in, that we should not demand our rights, that we are somehow lesser, and that we all just should all crawl into the shadows of society. They've continued their campaign of terror and harm, and they're harming everyone. The elderly, parents who simply for driving by, going to the grocery store, can become victimized. The children who are afraid to go to school. The children who are constantly looking out for ICE or for whistles being blown when the raids come to the neighborhood. This is shameful and un-American, and once again proof that rogue federal agents are acting as a new American Gestapo, and our community is in their crosshairs. However, I have never felt prouder of people in this community across Chicagoland because of the peaceful, nonviolent resistance. This is how you win people's hearts and minds, and this is how we're winning our message that we are hardworking, that we are builders, and that we are an essential part of American fabric. Peaceful nonviolence. I recognize the frustration. I recognize the anger. I recognize how so many people feel. However, if we succumb to violence, we will lose our battle. If we succumb to violence, our message will get lost. The essence of everything good that we are can dissipate. That's why it is essential that even though you may fear and be afraid, don't be intimidated. Find strength. find someone to talk to, find someone to hold hands with, and continue the resistance. This is what America, this is what civil rights are all about, and we are at the forefront of a fight for new civility and civil rights in America. Yes, we're on ground zero, but we are winning that fight. Look at the women who came out last week and participated in nonviolent resistance out of anger that what is being done is wrong, that children are being harmed, that families are being torn apart, and that harm is indiscriminately being distributed out, meted out by our own government. This is wrong, this needs to stop, and that's why we are here today. Muy brevemente, espero que las cortes y los jueces federales que han buscado frenar las prácticas ilegales y bárbaras de la administración Trump cesen. Este es un testimonio de todo el daño que están afligiendo a las comunidades inmigrantes. Pero hay que recordar que no podemos perder la fe. Nunca he tenido el orgullo que tengo ahora en ver cómo la comunidad resiste pacíficamente, colectivamente y en cada instancia donde ven que algo mal ocurre. Así vamos a triunfar, aunque parezca que es una guerra sin cese. Estamos ganando los corazones y las mentes del público norteamericano. Por ello, no hay que ceder el terreno a la violencia. Vamos a sobrevivir y vamos a ganar nuestra causa, porque es una causa que representa la justicia para todo el pueblo norteamericano. Muchas gracias.
And now I'd like to invite up Alderman Mike Rodriguez.
Just want to recognize some of our elected officials today. State Rep. Edgar Gonzalez, State Rep. Aaron Ortiz, Alder Byron Cisco Lopez, State Rep. Teresa Ma, Cook County Commissioner Alma Anaya, Countywide Commissioner Ada Corral Sepulveda, 10th District Police Counselor Elian Baena. You've heard from Chuy, and you'll hear from State Senator Selena Villanueva. Okay. I'm Alderperson Mike Rodriguez. Welcome to my office. A few of you have been here before. Yesterday at around 9:30 a.m., my daughter Sofia, my son Diego, my wife, and I were planning our day. We're going to a chess tournament at Urban Warriors down the street. Yesterday at 9 or 9:30 a.m., the Garcia family was planning their 48th wedding anniversary. And yesterday at 9:30 a.m., the Veraza family was planning their day and planning to go to the Sam's Club. You see, residents from throughout our area, from throughout Chicago, yesterday were looking forward to a day of peace and tranquility. They were looking forward to a day of shopping, a day of chess, a day of celebration. But that tranquility, that peace was broken yesterday. That was broken by Donald Trump and his Gestapo, led by Bovino. Right outside of my son's chess tournament, 1 block away, I snuck out to stand on 26th and Pulaski with rapid responders who were throughout our neighborhood, alerting community of what was going on with these federal authorities, much like Victor said, trying to keep our neighbors safe. It was here at 26th and Pulaski where Bovino made a left. He made a left that won't be soon forgotten. They took a brother right in front of the Citibank here, right in front of our eyes. I was standing next to a family of 3. One was a 6-year-old, standing very close to me when a flash grenade was detonated a foot away from me and several feet from the 6-year-old. Further down the street, just down the street, the Veraza family was pepper sprayed indiscriminately by ICE agents. Yesterday was a day of terror. It follows an agenda of terror by this president. I think we stand here today sick and tired of what's happening here not just in our country and not just in our city, but in our neighborhood and on our streets. We want peace. We want tranquility. As Matt said, the nation's violence numbers have gone down by 20%. The city of Chicago's has gone down 30%. Here in Little Village, it's gone down 60 to 70%. I've never felt less safe in my life than I have over the last couple of months in this reign of terror. Brevemente en español, soy Mike Rodríguez, concejal del Distrito 22 aquí concentrada en La Villita. Ayer fue un día terrible para nuestra comunidad. Familiares como la de la Braza Family estaban planeando su día a las 9, 9:30. Mi familia estamos planeando un torneo de mi hijo a las 9, 9:30. La familia García estaban celebrando su aniversario. Todos nosotros tenemos la idea de tener paz en nuestra comunidad y celebrar el día. Pero esta celebración, ese día normal, se convirtió a un día de terrorismo, llegado por la agenda de Donald Trump. Nosotros estamos unidos hoy día y todos los días en decir que lo que pasó a la familia Veraza no es justo. Eso no trae paz a nuestra comunidad. Esto trae terror. Gracias.
And now I'd like to invite Senator Selena Villanueva.
I never know what's going to come out of my mouth, so I'm going to surprise everybody, myself included. What I witnessed yesterday with my own eyes was state-sponsored terrorism. At least 4 different instances throughout the course of the morning and the early afternoon, ICE and CBP terrorized our community. They left and they would come back in at least 4 different occasions, hitting 26 in Kedzie, hitting 23rd and Spalding, Sawyer, 26 in Pulaski, 26 in Kamensky, going to the Sam's Club. They kept going and coming back. And each and every single time, they left destruction in their wake. They left traumatized people in their wake. Each and every time, they left people hurt, abducted individuals, and ran away like thieves in the night. What we saw yesterday is a continuation of this administration telling us that we're nothing. And yet in every single one of those moments that I witnessed, along with so many of the individuals behind me, was the community fighting back and saying, we are worth more than what you know. That we deserve all the good things. That we deserve respect and justice. That we deserve to have 1-year-olds not be pepper sprayed and families be pepper sprayed on a Saturday when they're going grocery shopping. That we deserve for people to come to Little Village and go to our small businesses and have brunch and have a good time and frequent the area. But what the president of this country is doing is terrorism. And we have to call it what it is. It is state-sponsored terrorism. Because when you wake up in the morning and your first thought is, how can I hurt people? How can I harm people? That makes you a horrible human being. And the individuals that are ICE agents, that are CBP agents, Greg Bovino, what we saw was hatred in their eyes. What we saw was their lack of ability of seeing us as humans. There was nothing in their eyes other than hatred. And that comes from Donald Trump and Stephen Miller and all of their cronies. It comes from the racism that is at the fundamental heart, the white supremacy that is at the fundamental heart of what is happening right now. And if you think I'm angry, you have no idea how angry I am. Because when we get those calls on a Saturday morning or a Monday morning or a Wednesday morning, because again, they run one day into another, we're the ones out there. And I don't just mean elected officials. I'm talking about the community. I am a community member before I am a state senator. I am out there trying to defend and fight for our community, and so are so many people standing behind me. What we saw yesterday in the face of injustice and Greg Bovino breaking court orders was community members fighting back every single step of the way, with their whistles, with their wits, and with their education of their constitutional rights. I was at 23rd and Sawyer, and I saw several of you. And what I witnessed was neighbors who literally did not let ICE enter their home because they knew their rights. They knew that they couldn't enter a premises without a signed judicial warrant. We don't have what ICE and CBP has. We don't have tear gas. We don't have pepper spray. We literally have our bodies and whistles. And we're fighting back with that. Because it's about humanity. It's about our communities. And at the end of the day, they're going to continue to come and we're going to continue to fight back because we know how to build movements. And that is what they're afraid of. And we will continue to build this movement because we know about justice. We know about democracy. And we know about humanity. Muy brevemente en español, soy la senadora estatal Celina Villanueva y les voy a decir, la realidad es que fueron por lo menos 4 veces ayer que entró ICE a la villita y se fue. Lo sabemos porque son varias diferentes calles donde agarraron a gente, donde se llevaron a gente, pero también lo que dejaron era destrucción. Sin ningún sentimiento, sin ninguna idea de cómo están dejando la gente traumatizada, o si están heridos, o si han hecho algo. Pero ayer lo que vivimos y lo que vimos con nuestros ojos era una comunidad fuerte, una comunidad que pelea y lucha para la justicia, una comunidad que sabemos que nosotros somos humanos, aunque nos dicen que no lo somos. Lo que vimos ayer es una comunidad que aunque está cansada de lo que está sucediendo, va a seguir luchando. Porque somos una comunidad que merece esa lucha. Muchísimas gracias.
We keep us safe.
Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe. So to close our time, as you can see, we are united together. We're here to protect our neighborhoods. We're here to protect our city. Our weapons are faith, hope, love, community, advocacy, and each other. And we'll stay united for anything that is going to come. Finally, on my socials, both Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, we've placed the videos of 26th and Pulaski. We have the video of the ICE agent spraying into the car, and we have the video when I came on the scene and encountered the family. You guys have approval to be able to use all those, both on my behalf, on behalf of the family. And now we will pause for questions.
Pastor Matt, question. Since you saw Gregory Bovino with the tear gas canister, I guess 2 questions. Did you see any reason for the provocation leading up to that? And did you hear any warnings issued before they launched it?
Yeah, so I was in my van. I was heading west. I was right at the intersection of 26 and Pulaski. I had a front view of everything, and there was 10 cars in front of me. There were neighbors around. People were upset. All of the agents popped out of the car, guns drawn. Did not hear a single warning. I thought my van was going to get hit from behind, so I turned the camera to look behind. Again, agents with assault rifles standing there. In the video, I then hear 2 flashbang grenades go off. There's another video where the flashbang grenade, you can see it, at Alderman Rodriguez's feet. And then I turned to my left, hadn't noticed he was there, and there is Bovino with the grenade, pulls the pin, holds it, carries it, has an interaction with neighbors, and then hops into his van.
And again, no warnings,
0 warning. Yeah, no warning, no announcement. No, here comes tear gas. No, if you do something else, we're going to throw this. It was just done. You can see the videos on Facebook. Mike's there with families, and then all of a sudden, they just pop.
Alderman, same question for you, and also if I can add to that, we know that allegedly all of this happened because agents said that there were gunshots fired at them. By the time you came out, or I should say, since you were nearby, did you hear any gunshots?
I was at Aguascalientes speaking with the owner. A little bit after the incidents there with ICE, I heard no gunshots. However, I don't know when the alleged gunshots happened, and I wasn't there for more than 20 minutes, so I will say that. Back on 26th and Pulaski. I was there. We were peacefully there. Victor Rodriguez was there with me as well. Pastor Matt was a little further away. People were vociferously protesting. They were pissed. They were mad. We got out of the way of the cars. The cars had a clear path to move out. And next thing I know, I'm ducking for cover because I don't know what that grenade was. No warning. Let go at my feet.
Did you see anything thrown at them before they launched the chemical agent?
Absolutely not.
And actually, one more question for you, because since there was a CPD officer that was injured by a car in the
Yeah.
aftermath of all of this going on, and I think it's important to note, because Congressman Garcia mentioned that there's growing frustration amongst people because I don't think they understand that CPD is not authorized to intervene with federal authorities and what they're doing. And so I'm not sure if maybe you would want to speak about that so that people don't take
Yeah.
up what's going on CPD officers.
Thank you, Michelle. The fact is, I've got to give a lot of credit where credit's due. The Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights, they organize grassroots organizations throughout the state, a lot in this region. We have fought together. I used to be a member. We have fought together to pass the Illinois Trust Act. We fought together to pass the Welcoming City Ordinance amendments. I got to give credit to the Welcoming City, to Chewy and Mayor Washington. I don't know if ICER was around at that point. However, we are organized here in the state of Illinois. We're organized here in the city of Chicago because we have institutions like ICER and many others doing the hard work to make sure that our governments are accountable to the people. One of the ways we are forced to be accountable to the people is by passing laws that ensure that police are working on violent criminals and actual violence and not concentrated on unlawful engagements with federal authorities on immigration matters that quite clearly do not impact public safety.
But just to understand, to
Please.
let people know that CPD cannot, stop CBP or ICE.
No, I think that's right. Look, that is right. There are federal authorities on our streets, and local government has limited authority in those cases, including the police officers. However, we do know around the country that there are efforts to partner with police to make sure our communities are safe. And I think we need to really think deep about how we're doing that here as well.
Any others?
Can I ask Raphael a question?
Sure.
First of all, would you mind or would you be comfortable sharing your daughter's first name at least?
Her name is Ariana.
And your wife's first name?
Evelyn.
Emily?
Evelyn.
Just curious, I know you talked a little bit about giving her water after she got tear gas or whatever it was. What else, how long was she affected for, and what else did you guys have to do to make sure she was okay?
To be honest, I really cannot say because like I am telling you, I was the one that mostly got affected. I got basically, when I got hit by the pepper spray, I got hit all on my side of my face. I even got photos of the aftermath of how my face ended up. Basically, when I got hit, my eyes got hit, my whole ear, it went through my whole ear. Basically, when I pulled to the side, there was a lady. Thank God to her. I don't know where she came from, but I guess she came to help. She came, she started helping me, but eventually I told her to help my daughter because eventually I could have put water in my face. Towards my daughter, I know she was not going to be able to do something for herself, on her own. So that's why when she came, she tried to help, and then she tried to help me because, first of all, I'm asthmatic. I've been with asthma since I was a little kid. So the moment that it hit me, I couldn't breathe. Basically went through my whole ear, went through my waves through my ears. When I got to the hospital, my heartbeats were at 263 per minute. So the doctors couldn't calm me down. They couldn't, basically, they put a mask. I couldn't breathe through the mask neither. They couldn't really do nothing. The only thing they were trying to do is trying to basically wear off all the pepper spray that was in my face, in my ear, in my hair. Basically, why? Because they didn't know if all that spray that was still in my head was still going in through my waves from my ear, mostly because I'm asthmatic. So I was trying to, for me, the doctor said it took like about an hour and a half 2 hours to calm myself down. Towards the whole end of the day, I still felt my whole face numb. I don't know what chemical. It's like how I told my wife, I'm like, if I'm 25 years old, got hit by the pepper spray, and my face was fully numbed, I couldn't feel my cheek, I couldn't feel nothing, not even my face. If my face was numb, now I imagine my daughter's face. Fully numb at a 1-year-old with as low defenses on her body. So, really can't say anything about that.
Rafael, your wife was obviously, rolling with the cell phone as this was all happening. Do you think that maybe they targeted you because they saw you recording?
The thing is this, like when we started recording, like when she started recording, when I was eventually exiting the thing, the truck from mine was eventually coming in. I peeped it from my side of my eye, the officer, as soon as he started coming in, there was eventually more cars in front of me. That's why I was trying to exit. The cars in front of me, they were getting pepper spray too. Even though he was coming, the ICE agent was coming in, I saw him from my eye, he was pulling his hand out, pepper spraying already. He didn't come after my window because I could have seen him straight away. You guys could clearly see in the video. And I'm sorry for getting mad, but I could clearly see in the freaking video where you seeing he's pepper spraying since his hand is out, since entering the freaking parking lot. He's pepper spraying everybody. You can see my car. I have images. My whole front of my car is pepper sprayed. So he was already pepper spraying all the way through the parking lot. What's the reason exactly? What? Because they got kicked out of Little Village? Because they know they can't come after us? Because how everybody says we got more power against them? They really need to use extra force against us because we really don't have weapons, how they said it. We have our voice, we have our hands, and we have our body to defend ourselves. But if we use something illegal against them, we use a gun, we use a bat, what do we consider? Criminals? What are they considered? Angels? Well, they're considered, to me, I see them as criminals. The same way how they discriminate us, Mexicans, us as the Mr. Donald J. Trump considers us as criminals, cartel members, or whatever the hell he wants to call us. What the hell are they? Sorry for what I'm going to say, right? But this goes towards ICE. Every ICE member in their jurisdiction is a fucking Latino. Especially I seen every ICE agent is a fucking Latino. I swear to, I pray to God, I go to church every Sunday with my family, with my mom and everything. I don't put nothing bad against them, but they're all Latinos. Así como, I'm saying in Spanish because it gets me more mad in Spanish. Así como a nosotros nos hacen menos, va a llegar el punto donde ellos van a ser mucho menos. Y lo diré en inglés y lo diré en español. Cada maldito oficial que trae un vest, trae una placa y trae una pinche pistola, se sienten con poder. Quítense ese puto vest, quítense esa placa y quítense esa puta pistola. Y a ver quién tiene o quién en realidad es humano. Porque con eso solamente se sienten de poder. Sin eso no son mierda. Al igual como nosotros somos humanos, ellos son unos humanos. So, si ellos quieren guerra no les vamos a dar, pero sí nos vamos a defender.
And I think thank you. I think too, what we train people, one of our tools is recording. So recording is legal. And as we talked, they hear a chopper overhead. And I don't know if you've been in those spaces when you have a chopper 200 feet over your head. My wife texts me every day. We live in the heart of Little Village. There's another chopper overhead. There's another chopper overhead. And we get to wonder, is it a news chopper? Is it an ICE chopper? Is it federal government? And when they bring the big Black Hawk one, terrifying. And so one of our only weapons is recording. And so if a family shopping on a Saturday afternoon, trying to get diapers, trying to get milk, trying to get eggs, as we discussed earlier, here's a chopper, here's cars speeding in, and I had my 1-year-old daughter. I have 3 children. If my 1-year-old daughter is behind me, I'm wondering what's going on. And if the charge or whatever negative is to record, completely ridiculous. And so on the video that is there, it's the only 10 seconds we have. It's right as cars are speeding in, as choppers are overhead. Pull out the phone, start recording. As cars are coming, they are literally going the opposite way and start to spray in. It's all on the video. We got time for one or two more.
Just one more. Obviously we talked today about how the courts have attempted to bar this sort of behavior, doing exactly what they did yesterday to you and your family. What would you like to see from the courts in response to this?
Towards this, eventually, I would like for them to proceed because it's not right. Like I'm saying, it's not right. Okay, yeah, us as adults, we can handle it, but as kids, they shouldn't be targeting kids. They're not part of this. They're 1 year old, 3 years old, 6 years old that doesn't even know what's life ahead of them. They haven't even seen their full life through them. For them to what? Feel feared? Feel like their parents are not gonna come home? There's, for instance, where I work, my bosses, even my coworkers, they gotta ask me for a ride. Why? Because they tell me, you know what? I'm feared of driving my own car, getting pulled over, and not being able to come back to my family, not being able to come to my kids. And I see them and I help them. Why? For the same reason, because I don't want them to go through it, something that I could go through. My mom is the same thing. Everybody's gonna be in the same position. A lot of people are scared to even come out just because of what they're doing. They like how they're saying, we're criminals and they're terrorists.
How do you spell your daughter and your wife's name?
My wife's will be Arinna, and my wife's will be Evelin.
Yeah, I think I'll close this out. What we want is we want justice. We want accountability. We want peace. We want what we've had, and we want to see our communities thrive. Thanks for being here.